Croeso and welcome to Cardiff Referee Society's meeting with Gibraltar FA's Referee Manager, Adrian Bacarisa. Adrian gives us an insight into Gibraltar FA's referee development, recruitment and retention schemes,
which have with the contentious issues of recruitment and retention. So we have a retention and recruitment program. And we start off by attending schools. We get some of our referees to go to the schools to speak to the students. We target students who are soon to be 15. That's where we start, soon to be 15, 16, 17. We also go to the College of Further Education in Gibraltar, and there you have older students, they're 17, 18, those who haven't gone to uni in the UK. And we give presentation on what it, not on the laws of the game, but what it is to be a referee and the opportunities that offers to young people if they so wish to take refereeing. We also approach football clubs. We know that some players may be finishing their own football careers. Some of them will never play for the club's first team because of skills or because of an injury. So also try and approach football clubs. Sometimes we are successful with that. Other times we haven't got any. We don't get any returns from the football clubs. But we carry on plowing away with the clubs if they can also help. We also use social media. We try and show what we do through the Gibraltar FA website, and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. We get quite a lot of help with the press, with the Gibraltar local press. They also do some articles in favor of referees. For just as an example, last night it was our top league match, Lincoln against Europa, and it was refereed by one of our very young referees, Seth Lalia. He's as uni is close there, so he's here, and we are using him as well. So that we got good reports in the press this morning. So that it should. We're hoping that will encourage young people to come forward and referee. We also target individuals, people that we know who have a passion for the game, and we know that they've had a football life in the past as players, as coaches, or as very young players in the GFA setup, and we think they've got the qualities to become referees and progress. So we also have that. Another thing that we do is that people are interested, but they don't really know if they would like to be a referee. We actually invite them to our collective training sessions. They come along and they see what the work that's done with the fitness coach, the referees. We promote healthy lifestyle. Most of our young people now are into that thing of gyms and healthy lifestyle, healthy eating. So we try and use these invitations to collective training sessions. It was pre-COVID days. Now with COVID days, we were very restricted on this. And one of the things that we benefited of structure-wise during COVID was the launch of the online beginners course. I saw that the FA of Wales had one already. So I spoke to them and I was put in touch with eCoach Limited, and we designed an online course for beginners. So that's up and running. We expected more people to join the online beginners course, but it's had the counter effect because of schools and College of Further Education not doing any studies on sports officiating because of COVID issues and not having given permits for practicals. But the schools and the College of Further Education this year has not offered sports studies. So in a way, we're hoping this will pick up in September. But we already have some new referees who've come through this online course. Because what we were getting initially was that, well, past through 2 or 3 years, we were getting young people saying, we cannot spend or afford 15 hours with you guys over a week, because we traditionally has been run Mondays to Fridays in the evenings. Yeah. And they're students, they've got busy lives, they've got shift work. So they could not have that commitment to do the 15 hours with us. So we decided to go on this online course, the same as the FA of Wales, and we're hoping that will we will be successful with it. So that's what we have for recruitment, and that's what we try and target. We use our top referees to, as you said, to go to schools to speak to people and share experiences with them and see if we can get them on. Then we have a retention program. Our referees, they start in grassroots referees like everywhere else in the world, and but we start them in a safe environment refereeing. It's non-competitive football, very, very young players. They have a referee coach with them. We have a mentor scheme, which we use sometimes our observers as mentors. And what happens is that if a referee is under the age of 18, when he does his course, he's classified as a category 4 referee because he's not over the age of 18. So he's not allowed to referee adult football until he's 18 or 17, soon to be 18. Once they're 18, they get to the age of 18, then they're reclassified as category 3s, and they go into this pool of grassroots referees and if they develop, they get opportunities to referee up to a top level in youth football. And so that's on the side of how we try and keep our young referees retained or new referees to come back the next season. But later on, I will expand on this because we've got a carrot hanging in front of them, and I'll tell you what we have now in place for this. And this is the first season that we've implemented this, but I'll speak about it later on. Then retention with senior football, they get referee coach support. We offer physiotherapist cover. In our national league, we have the service of a sports psychologist in our national league. I don't know, because of how sensitive this is, we don't know how many of our referees are using that service, but the sports psychologist hasn't come back to us saying he hasn't got any work from our side. So there must be some of our guys who need to speak to someone like a psychologist, sports psychologist. But we actually did some workshops with the sports psychologists, and so they know each other, and that service is there for them if they so wish. We offer some of our referees who are getting on and they don't know whether to keep on at it. We offer them support roles within our setup. They can become coaches, they can become observers, they can become mentors, or just helping around. They don't want anything like, I don't want to be a coach, but I'll help you around being there to get the equipment out, or give me a call and I'll solve any problems for you. So we try and once they decide that they don't want to do refereeing, we try and keep them in the referee setup in different roles. Sometimes we're successful, other times they've decided to leave and not put anything back from what they've learned in their life as a referee, but what can we do? As regards our development scheme, we've got a number of phases that we've got implemented. So as I mentioned, we've got the induction into refereeing. The mentor will be them initially available for 5 to 8 weeks. After those, that will be close monitoring. After those 5 or 8 weeks, then by then we know whether the referee has it in him that he or her they can progress quite quickly. And if they show any signs of good development, then they are offered appointments at a higher level under the youth league system. Because competitive football in Gibraltar exists once players get to the age of 12. And that's when really the referee department starts working with referees. Before that, if you're refereeing in players who much younger than 12 years old, any volunteer can referee. And we have some of our very young referees doing competitive football in a safe environment. And one of our coaches goes round, but he goes round and checking that they're doing well and they're not getting put off by behavior from coaches and parents. We have an exit strategy, sometimes personal choice. If they want to leave because of personal choice, or maybe because they fail to adhere to the principles of the program. We expect some a right attitude, a good attitude from the young referees, but if they don't keep to the program, then we put them aside, like turning up late for matches. We're not interested in someone like that. So we try and instill good practices from a very young age, and hoping that one day they'll come into our National League system. And in phase 2, and that's when they get their own referee manager. We call him the grassroots referee manager, and that's when they start refereeing under 14s and the 16s, and the 12s, which I mentioned earlier on. And he ensures that they get placements in the different youth leagues in competitive football. And we advise them, or we want them to stay there for at least a year, see if they're enjoying it, if they are happy with the way things are going from our side as well. And the grassroots referee manager keeps close tabs with them. Yeah? Any problems, anything issues, he acts as a referee manager, acts as a mentor. We haven't got enough mentors for everybody, so this person helps a lot with grassroots referee as their own manager, and he identifies these referees if we can work with them for further progression. And then again, the exit strategy there in phase 2 is similar to phase 1. The referee might decide that this is not for me, or we are not happy with them, yeah, because of issues on attitude or things like that. So if they are working well and they're developing with our program, they go on to what we call the phase 3, and then they will start moving into adult football, and they will start refereeing the under 23 sides of our National League teams, local clubs. So they'll be there for about 2 years, and that's when we start working with them. And after 2 full years, then with their advice, they decide if they want to carry on developing as a referee, or if they want to specialize as an assistant referee with the view of getting into the National League panel. And through that phase 3 system, we support them if they want to get promotion from category 3 to category 2, which would be a referee in an intermediate league with potential to be a National League referee in 2-3 years' time, or 4 years' time, depending on his own personal development. And then the exit strategy is the same: personal choice, failing to adhere to the program at this phase, or maybe he or she is showing promise, but then this potential promise does not develop the way we expect. And speaking to them, we tell them that do another year in this phase, see how it goes, couple of things that you need to work on, and it's all encouragement and most importantly, for them to enjoy it. Yeah, if they're not enjoying refereeing, what are they doing? Because some of them are attracted because of match fees, but then when they try it out, they say, oh, it's too much work for the match fee. But if I want that match fee, then I have to do all this work. So it works both ways. But anyway, the next phase is when they're already category 2 referees, and already some of them are looking towards they're going into specialization as ARs. Others want to keep trying to be a referee in the National League, but they get offered, if they're working well, developing well, they get offered appointments in the National League. Our National League panel is not that long. So they actually, if they're working well, developing well, they manage to get an appointment here or there. As I was mentioning before we started with Amin, the matches are coming fast and furious, and our referees are doing 3 matches a week, and assistant referees maybe 4 matches a week. It's very, very busy. And the exit strategy there, as category 2 referees, is the same. If they want to leave, it's personal choice. Again, it's not adhering to the program that we want them to adhere, and this covers behavior, attitudes, their life outside football, the behavior in social media. All these things affect the refereeing, not only the performance on the pitch. And also, they are showing promise as an 18-year-old, but when they get to the age of 20, that promise is not there. They haven't developed what we hope that they would be developing. And so sometimes we have to tell them, well, you'll need another year, you need another 2 years in this phase if you still want to be a National League referee. And then the last phase in development is going to get to the National League, what we call phase 5. They get promoted to category 1, they're referees in the National League, or they're specialist assistant referees in the National League. we also have an exit strategy here, personal choice, obviously, and again, failing to adhere to the principles of the program. We want them to lead by example in their own jobs, the same as we expect them when they come to referee in the park. And again, behavior, social media use, no stupid pictures and things like that on your Facebook page, no comments on colleagues, no comments on any refereeing happening in the world, things like that. We try to educate them that as referees, we have to be seen as impartial, and we do our job as professional as we can. So that's the recruitment and the retention and the development scheme that we have for our referees. So in order to achieve all this with retention, for this has been the first season we are offering incentive schemes, incentive bonuses for retention. So what we have now is that if a referee, irrespective of the category, if a referee referees for 2 years, 2 full seasons with us regularly, he qualifies for a bonus payment after those 2 years. But we will not pay that bonus until the commencement of the 3rd season. So he will be refereeing 2 seasons, and just before Christmas of the 3rd season, he gets paid this bonus. And I can't remember now how much money it is, but I think it's for the under 18s, I think it's something like £400. I think I can't remember now. And it goes up as you go along. And in the National League, then they get a better bonus, obviously. We're talking about maybe £1,000. And the finance people are the ones that worry about the money. I just come up with a plan, and then they put some figures into it. So this is on the retention. So we're hoping that some of the referees, and sometimes even our older referees, I'm getting on. I don't want to do all this training, but you can still be a referee in the intermediate league with under 23s or youth football. And the retention incentive scheme is for you to carry on refereeing for another year. And if you do another year, and then you get 2 years, and then you get another bonus, apart from the match fees that you get. So we're hoping that we will see benefits with this in the next 3 years. We will see if this new system will work as we hope. Apart from that, we also have an incentive scheme. If referees attend collective training for 70% of the season, they get a bonus payment for that. If you pass fitness tests, you get a bonus payment. If you pass, we've got the 2 FIFA mandatory tests, plus we also have two UEFA Yo-Yo tests. So in effect, we are telling them you need to pass 4 tests in a season. So they get a bonus for each test that they pass. But if they pass the 4, they get an extra bonus. Yeah. So that makes that's a carrot. If I do this, I get this. If I do that, I get that. And also, when they attend to seminars, workshops, training camps, they also get an allowance because they're taking time off work, taking time away from home. So we pay them an allowance for being with us. So that's paying its dividends. And as an example, 4 years ago, collective training with our fitness coach, we would get 6, 7, 8 referees turning up. Now we've got this scheme, and we're getting 15, 16 turning up. So it's doubled in the last 2 years. So it seems that is an incentive that, it's raining, I won't go. The wife wants to go shopping. But when maybe suppose, or my husband wants me to do something else with the children, whatever it is. But they know that if they come for 70% of the time in the season, they get their bonus payment. And obviously, coming to collective training with a fitness coach, fitness levels increase, so you pass a fitness test, so you get another bonus. So it's like a circle. I do this and getting benefits all the time, and not only getting a payment for a match fee. So that's what we have in a nutshell. What we offer our referees, how we go about recruiting, how we go around with retention, and the bonus incentive scheme that we have, so that they keep at it. our referees are well supported by disciplinary committees in Gibraltar. The referee committee knows that if the referee has bad experience, that we expect the disciplinary committees to back up the referee and send out a strong message towards bad behaviour on match officials. So that's the way it is. And recruitment and retention is more or less the same problems like every other country. Culture. Yeah, I will not referee. No one will shout at me. Well, but you used to play and used to shout at the referee. That's why I don't want to do it now. So most of the times, spectators are well behaved. There are no issues outside the football ground with referees. We don't get referees assaulted or referees molested in their private lives by undesirables because of a decision. The pressure on our referees is on the ground. Our media is quite soft on refereeing. They want, we've told them time back, we're a small community. If you start hitting our mistakes and only our mistakes, who's going to referee come 2 or 3 years time? So they're quite they don't get involved in the controversy. Might have a word or two on something, but very, 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 very shallow comments. So, and we invite them to come to our workshops and presentation to see what the work that we do with our referees. So gents, that's what I have to tell you. You know that we only have one football ground, Victoria Stadium. There are other 2 sports complex built now. One of them is still not finished because of COVID. The other one is finished, and we use it as a training ground. And there's other developments going across, so we're expecting more football participation in the next 2 or 3 years. So we'll have to increase our referee levels. So these are all the things that we have, hoping that we can maybe 4 or 5 years time have a double of the number of referees we have. At the moment, including our futsal referees, there's 60 registered referees for the Gibraltar Football Association, and that includes the futsal referees. Of those 60, 18 are futsal referees, but of those 18, half of them do both futsal and football. So there's no, at the moment, we're only playing our national league because of COVID. We have a permit from Public Health Gibraltar to play the national league. The rest is all stopped. So we've got many referees who are not active. But because of our scheme, monetary schemes, they've kept on training during lockdown and come training as soon as we started collective training. And as I was telling, I mean, I've been, it was half time at the match now when I connected with you guys. But for the match, I had gone to the collective training and I had a good turnout of referees. Even though we had a team of our top referee and national league, we had a good turnout in the collective training throughout all categories. So it seems that the future looks bright, but we need to do more work on retention. We've got the systems in place, we've got the people in place, but then we thought the beginners course was going to be a good start, but it went against us because they closed, and then when they opened, they could not offer practicals, so we were left a bit on a limbo with that. But it's picking up now, so hopefully, come September, we can have quite a few people registering on our beginners course when the new academic year starts.
Thank you, Adrian. We've had a few questions in the chat.
Yeah.
So the first one is, can I move to Gibraltar?
Yeah, you can. Property here is very expensive, and life is not cheap. It's expensive to live. The booze is cheap, but life is expensive.
When you started talking about the bonus scheme, I was looking at the faces and everyone's eyes lit up. I'm thinking, what? there's something that the FAW are missing out on here.
Do you think I asked to go to Gibraltar? That was the main reason for all that. Well,
and the sunshine as well.
And the sunshine. Yeah.
The thing is that we're a small country. We've got 60 referees throughout all categories registered, but not all the 60 referees decide to come into these schemes. The ones that come to these schemes are the ones that aspire come into the National League or already in the National League. For the 60, I would say that 60, maybe 20, 25, 30 benefit from all these schemes that we have because they want to be referees. They're not happy with just refereeing under 12s or under 14s. You know what I mean? But if not, my finance director would not be very happy with me. He would say that he had to pay £60,000 of bonuses to our 60 referees. So we've got the scheme, but they've got to work a lot, and not, as you know, not everybody is prepared because of work, family, or because they're just happy doing for the rest of their lives being a referee in the lower leagues and youth leagues, and that. We haven't been successful is with women. We've had women referees in the past, but now we have none.
Right.
So it actually, when we started back in the office, I've had already some discussions with the women's department to see if we can recruit some women referees. So we've come up with some ideas because, and one of the things is that they suggested was that this beginners course, online course, is for these girls not to do it on their own in their own time. It's for them to do it in conjunction with the women's referee department, and they all come in and log online and do the course, and they're there together, and they can share their opinions on the clips and use it as a class.
Great.
So if that works, fine. Yeah, no problems with it. And as I told our women's football manager, the course is not there to you to fail. It's just you have to jump the hurdle. If you don't jump that hurdle, you have to jump it again until you pass that hurdle, and then it's progressive. So maybe you're acquainted with it's very similar to the FA of Wales beginners online course. Yeah. So they make sure that you pass. Yeah. By if you don't get the right answer the first time, you're given another opportunity until you get it. Yeah.
And then how big is women's football in Gibraltar? Is it a growing game?
It goes through phases because at some stage we had four clubs involved, but now we have 3. But what the Gibraltar FA has, they have a program of on women's football, and they're allowed to compete up to the age of 12. They're allowed to compete in the youth league with the boys. Once they get to the age of 14, then they move on to the women's league. But our women's league at the moment is a development league. It's been like that for the past 6 years, maybe 5, 6 years. Development league. There's nothing. The winner of that league, there's nothing for them. Let's just win the league, obviously.
Yeah.
There's no international competitions coming for them as the women's league winner of Gibraltar, because it's only development league. But now they started working with the very young girls, and I think it was last year before COVID, they went on a development tournament under 16s, and they actually got to beat one of the Eastern European countries, which was quite a big surprise for us. So this development is going well for the very young players. So hopefully, come 4 or 5 years' time, we can have our women's also competing in UEFA competitions and have women referees in UEFA competitions, let's say, hopefully.
Yeah. And then with the use of social media, as it's increased over the years, have you found this to have a positive impact on recruitment?
It has. The participants that we have now on the online course has been through social media. The participants we had 2 years ago came through the schools, and maybe 2 or 3 from social media. But now it's social media is the one that's hitting most. So Facebook, Twitter, the Gibraltar FA website. So that's getting hits on people looking into refereeing. But then they still have that block. Yeah, but referees are not liked. Referees are shouted. They get abused. They get this. They get that. So, but we try and help them out, and we tell them, well, you try it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we also use that. We also tell them, you look at our top referees in the world and our top referees are all in managerial roles, their own jobs. So it also helps you to become an adult. Some of our guys was out in our education system. Once you get to the age of 18, if you want to go to university, you go to the United Kingdom for that. Although we now have a university in Gibraltar, it's been on for 3 or 4 years now, but the bulk will go to the United Kingdom. And we try, these young referees that go over to the United Kingdom, we try and keep them in refereeing. We speak to the county FAs and they referee there in the hope that when they come back as architects, lawyers, whatever they study, they come back to refereeing and they already have a professional life working. Yeah. So that's one of the other things that we have.
The youth level or grassroots level football. Do most of your games, are they covered, or you have like a shortage and you got like volunteers? Like what percentage would you say?
Well, the age of 12 up, all football from the age of 12 up, they get qualified referees. Okay. Below that, they get some qualified referees, and it's mainly our very young referees, 15-year-olds, just started. And they get coaches as volunteers. And so they also get some volunteers who've done the referees course, but they've not carried on. They don't want the responsibility of refereeing, but they don't mind setting up once a week, once in a month, and doing a under 10s, under 8s, and help out. Yeah, so that also happens. And those are volunteers. They still get a match fee because our grassroots department pays them a match fee for turning up, even though they're not qualified. But obviously they need their police records must be correct. Yeah.
What's the highlight of your role? So at the moment you are referees manager. I suppose you're involved as a delegate as well and observer. What's the highlight of your role?
What I enjoy the most is actually coaching referees. I spend most of my time on the admin side of things, but when I enjoy it is in the evenings when I'm coaching. That's what I really like, coaching referees and assistant referees. And my worst job is managing appointments in our national league, intermediate league. I manage the appointments on behalf of the referees committee, but they decide who's going to do the matches, and then we have to figure out how can we fix everybody. But I have to sort that out as the referee manager for them. But I am the referee coach for our elite referees as well.
When somebody completes the refereeing course, do you supply them with a referee's kit as well?
We give them everything. We give them a full referee kit, full training kit. They get the same as a referee in our senior football. Yeah. If they only want to referee non-competitive football, our grassroots football department they will kick them out, and it's just a basic referee kit and a tracksuit. Nothing, no training kit, nothing, no boots. It's a basic one. If these referees then want to come into competitive football, or we see that they will be good referees in competitive football and they've got potential, then it's when we kick them out, the same as we kick out our National League referees. So what they initially pay for is £30 to register in the beginner's online course. And if they referee for a calendar year with us regularly, those £30 are given back to them. So in effect, they get everything. Yeah. Whereas in my days, I had to pay for everything myself.
Yeah, I think that with the online course in Wales, I think the problem that a lot of benefits, and a lot of people can see the wisdom for running a course is because it's quite time consuming to have the 8 or 9 weeks or 12 weeks, whichever it was, and having that commitment was quite difficult for a lot of people. But it is the future, going online and so on. But I think that once people do complete a course, is actually what happens next is like, in Wales, we tend to lose a lot of people who finish a course, put on their CV, and that's it.
That happens to us. What we do is that we make them, they do that before having the online beginners course, we could make them referee at least 3 matches with us. Yeah. be it non-competitive football, be whatever. And the schools would encourage them through the studies also to do that, to referee at least 3 matches. This year, as you know, we started the online beginners course. We haven't been able to get them refereeing. There's no football other than the National League. We had issues as well having the practicals with them, because some of them qualified with the final exam, got the certificate, but we still could not do the face-to-face presentations with them. We only managed to do that about 3 weeks ago. We managed to get the first guys who went into this online beginners course, and now they're going to collective training. So I'm hoping that maybe after Easter there are some friendlies allowed, grassroots football or any mini tournaments that they will do within Gibraltar with very young players, and maybe we can get them involved refereeing, so that at least they can try it out before the summer. Yeah. But at the moment, everything is what's good today is not as good tomorrow. So, but on the whole, Gibraltar seems to be picking up now. So hopefully, we will have a normal season come September this year. Right,
and then with the support for the coach and support side of things, you said you've got a psychologist, a physiotherapist. So is that like you give your referees the psychologist number and then they arrange it, or?
Yeah, that's the psychologist is for our National League match officials, basically. Obviously, someone else we see that may need that help, we try and help out as well to give them that support. It'll be one of our very young referees. I haven't come across that yet, who needs some help, and we can offer that. But the physiotherapist covers for all our referees, down to grassroots. And then our physiotherapist is also our fitness coach, the referee national fitness coach. So the cover for physiotherapy is across all our categories.
Okay.
But again, some use it, others don't. Some prefer to go to their own physio, and there's nothing in place telling them you have to see our own medical department and not a private one. But if they decide to go on a private, it's their choice. Yeah. They have to pay for that, obviously. But we offer all that. Yeah.
And you also run an exchange system as well with the other national.
Yes. We've been running exchange programs with other countries now for 4 years. Malta, Andorra, San Marino. And in fact, when Gibraltar and Wales went into the first lockdown, that weekend we were doing an exchange program with Wales. So we had sent our referees over to Wales, and the Welsh referees were about to fly to Gibraltar when everything went on lockdown. So our guys spent the night in Wales and had to come back the following morning without football, and your guys never got off. From Wales. So, and that was a very, very hectic weekend, because we were not getting the Welsh referees because our league had not been cancelled, or rather postponed for that weekend. So Wales had stopped all football.
And you lost your referees.
But we had not stopped football.
Yes, yeah.
So if the Welsh team didn't come to Gibraltar, we didn't have the referees for our matches, because we had sent one of our teams over. So the rush here was to get our referees, the FA Wales, getting our referees back in Gibraltar so that they could referee the match that the Welsh referees were going to do. So it was a bad Friday morning, late Friday evening experience trying to sort everything out. And then late Friday night, all football is stopped in Gibraltar. So all the rushing, all the running around, all phone calls, for nothing.
Excellent. And then how do you manage with the one stadium?
Yeah, all our football competition is played in one stadium. So just imagine our stadium manager and our grassroots and our National League setup sharing this across all categories. The Women's League is played there, National League is played there, Intermediate League is played there, and the 6th and the 14th, and the under 12s actually play across. Apart from this, there's small pitches around the stadium where other categories play, the younger players, and train as well. So we do miracles. We cannot have match day being the Saturday. We have to space out the matches throughout the week. So our National League plays Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, and maybe a Monday night. And our Intermediate League, where our under 23 players, most of them are playing, they would play midweek. They always play midweek and the odd weekend. Yeah. So
in your Premier League or Championship League, you got 12 teams.
Yeah. And they play the first round once against each other, and then they split the top 6 and the bottom 6.
Right. Okay. Thank you. That's all the questions from the chat. I can leave it open if anyone wants to ask Adrian a question. While you're thinking of a question, I was just looking at the country coefficient, and Wales in 51st place, Gibraltar 49th place. So what are you doing in Gibraltar
Must be,
that we can learn from?
It must be the weather.
The bonuses.
The bonuses, maybe. But
I was gonna say, if you're paying the referees bonuses like that, the players must be even bigger bonuses.
Similar to your league, you've got the professional players, professional clubs. Some are semi-professional. There's one, maybe from 12 clubs. There's one which is amateur. But they even within them their own setups, they some of them get good money. Yeah, our Gibraltarian players, they've got good jobs. Most of them have good jobs in Gibraltar, and they play football. Others are full-time professional players. So they are young, so they haven't made a career somewhere else, and they're full-time professional players in Gibraltar.
And do you get a lot of players from Spain as well?
We've got a lot of players from Spain, from equivalent to a 3rd division in Spain, and second division B in Spain. Some of them who are getting near to their ending their careers. But we also get Argentinians, Italians. Some come from the UK. We've had Eastern Europeans as well in the past. We've had some players from some African countries. So they turn up from everywhere. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I never thought that it would be that attractive to come to Gibraltar to play, put it that way. Because our national league is a small league, but then you get all these players coming to play. So they make it better. Our local players have to improve so that they don't lose their own places in their own teams. So it's something like helps our own players develop. And we have a homegrown player rule that a team needs to have 5 homegrown players all the time on the pitch, all the time. So from the 11, 5 are Gibraltarians.
Obviously, Gibraltar is a small country. Everyone is there together. It's slightly easier to manage certain things. And I was from the start, obviously, a fighter for everyone to be together. And from what you said, when you've got these training sessions and everything, it's literally you're getting everyone, grassroots referee, middle referees, FIFA referees, all being together and sharing that knowledge across.
Yes. Yeah. For example, because of COVID, we've got a workshop. I was telling earlier on, we've got a workshop on Monday, but we have only been able to do it for our National League match officials because we have restricted the numbers because of COVID. But if it had been normal life, we would have had intermediate league match officials. We would have had grassroots referees coming in as well. We offer that as incentives for them to carry on refereeing, that they are sharing experiences with our top referees, basically.
That's very good, in my opinion. Obviously, it's a little bit harder to put that in prospect when I know Wales is a small country as well, but it's still obviously an area that needs to be covered. We need to devolve certain things into areas.
Yeah.
I think we probably need to work and get older people together again, which was the old style previously when me, Amin started. Now it looks like people have broke away. They've got their own little groups.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of being a small country, that we can manage. We are able to get all our refs together. And as an example, last week I was involved with the UEFA Ride course for referee instructors, And what I learned there is now available on Monday. If it had been a normal season, would have been available on Monday even for our grassroots referees, which is that for that to happen is very, very difficult in any other country.
And with regard to your season, when do you think your season will finish?
The current one will finish mid-May.
Right.
Yeah, that's why. And we'll expect to have the new season in the beginning of September.
Okay, excellent. Right, I think I'll call it a night, gentlemen. If there's any other questions, lots of thumbs up. So thank you again, Adrian, for giving up your time and giving us an insight into life in Gibraltar. I'm sure that Val might be packing his bags and John might buy him a ticket.
Too mean to spend my money, Abby.
Yeah. Come along, we will give you some matches, don't worry.
But I'll definitely be sending an email to Phil Thomas at the FAW and saying that the bonus scheme, he needs to go to Gibraltar and find out more about the bonus scheme.
Phil won't be happy with me then.
But it would certainly, if you think, certainly make a difference, and a nice difference actually. Say, it's I've done my 2 years. There we are.
Yeah.
An extra on the side. But,
yeah. We'll speak about this in about. I'll let you know how it works if we get the results that we want, and we're hoping it will. So let's see what happens.
Oh, brilliant! Okay, thank you again for your time, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the season. And I do follow you on social media as well, so it's quite good seeing the training sessions taking place. We can only wish we could have that kind of thing on a regular basis, but. Hopefully, in a couple of months' time, we'll be back to normal.
Back to normal, yeah. My colleague has just come into the room. He's putting away all our recording equipment. We record our referees in the National League, and the following day we have a match analysis.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you,
Adrian. Thanks for everything.
Thanks, Adrian.
Thanks, Adrian.